From the Mumbai studios of Republic TV, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate.
Arnab Goswami on the debate at 9. Presented by Amity University. Powered by RP Sanjeev Goenka Group, Voltas AC and Timex.
Good evening and welcome. This week I asked all of you to tweet using the hashtag #MyParliamentMyPride. And this evening the Prime Minister also asked you to put out videos with your voiceovers using the same hashtag #MyParliamentMyPride, and I'm extremely happy that a movement that started this week on Republic has today become the loudest collective movement of the year in our nation. This Parliament, this magnificent new Parliament, will remind us always of the transformation of India from a developing to a developed nation. And no attempt, no petty attempt, no narrow-minded attempt to try and diminish this grand event of this magnificent new structure will ever succeed. We will all say very, very loudly, "My Parliament, my pride. My Parliament, my pride." And if the 971 crore rupees that was spent to make this new Parliament seems too much, let me share that it is not even 1% of the money looted in recent Congress governments. Not 1% of the money they looted. There the money vanished. Here every rupee has gone into immortalizing this spirit and the stature and the strength of Indian democracy. And it is utterly shameful and absolutely senseless to try and undermine the office of the elected head of the world's largest democracy, the Prime Minister of India. Pamphlets like the Time magazine in America, pamphlets operating out of some 2,000 square feet office in New York, who on the Congress bidding, the Vadra Congress bidding, call this new Parliament controversial, should remember something. These Americans should remember that unlike their White House and their buildings built of the sweat and sacrifice and on the lives of slaves over generations, for their institutions have been built on the edifice of slavery. Our Parliament has been built on the hard work and effort and sacrifice of Indians who have resolved, through the growth of our economy and the magnificence of our infrastructure, to be the most powerful and the most democratic of all nations. And the reason some people are jealous and jealously boycotting the inauguration of the new Parliament of India is because it reminds them of their reduced relevance in national politics. Let them burn, I say, let them burn in envy. Let them burn in envy. We will say, "My Parliament, my pride." Debate 1 tonight. Movement 1 tonight. Talking point number 1 tonight. Hashtag number 1 tonight. My Parliament, my pride. And the pseudo-secular lobby thinks they can try and make us believe that the Sengol is not secular. I say the pseudo-secular lobby are the most communal people in this country. Why does the Sengol hurt the pseudos? Debate 2, and here are the headlines. This Friday evening on the debate tonight. The people of India must launch a counter movement against this insult to the country. And the hashtag for tonight is My Parliament, yes, my pride. Boycott lobby loses, national pride wins. Republic hashtag My Parliament, My Pride has become India's campaign. In just 2 days, India will get the new parliament first look released. Even the critics are praising the magnificence of the new structure.
पार्लियामेंट बिल्डिंग के इनॉग्रेशन का बहिष्कार देश के नागरिकों का बहिष्कार है। बहुत ही वंदनीय प्रतीक का अपमान करना राष्ट्र के सांस्कृतिक इतिहास का अपमान है।
BJP tears into the Congress hypocrisy. Smriti Irani reminds how the Congress insulted President Draupadi Murmu time and again. They insulted and neglected it for more than 7 decades. The Vadra Congress calls the sacred Sengol bogus now. From Sears.
इस विषय पे विरोध कर रहे हैं वो इस आर्टिकल को पढ़ें और थोड़ी जानकारी लें कि सेंगोल की क्या सिंबलिज्म है.
From Sears to the government, those dismissing the historical significance get multiple fact checks from across India. And the Sengol becomes the latest opposition glue as the pseudo-secular lobby refuses to recognize this grand symbol of Hindu heritage. Ladies and gentlemen, it makes us all very proud that in 36 hours, India will have a parliament that represents Indian heritage. It is my parliament and my pride. It makes me proud, it makes all of us proud that craftsmen from across the country have contributed to the parliament. It is my parliament, my pride. It makes me proud that the new parliament represents Atmanirbhar Bharat. It is my parliament, my pride. It makes me proud that the national emblem stands tall atop the building. It is my parliament, my pride. It makes me proud that the new parliament will be inaugurated by our Prime Minister, our elected head of government. It is my parliament, my pride. Why is it not the opposition's? Take a look and then we debate.
नया संसद भवन होगा 130 करोड़ देशवासियों की आशाओं को नई बुलंदियां देने वाला.
The magnificent new parliament is testament to India's changing stature.
नया संसद भवन फैला होगा 64,500 वर्ग मीटर के विशाल एरिया में.
The new parliament building has rooms built based on the 3 national symbols. The lotus inspired the Rajya Sabha, the peacock inspired the Lok Sabha, and the banyan tree inspired the central lounge courtyard. It's adorned with a 20-feet national emblem that is made of bronze, weighing 9,500 kilograms.
ये जो स्कल्पचर किया है हमने जो नेशनल एम्ब्लेम का, ये हमने सारनाथ का जो रिप्लिका है उस पर से ये पूरा स्कल्पचर बेस्ड है. उसी का सेम रिप्लिका हमने की है. हमने सेम टू सेम एज उसको बनाया है.
But to some sections of the opposition,
they are trying to show that they are only dictators. They want to show that only the Prime Minister is there, nobody else is above him. So, leaving everything, all parliamentary democracy, constitution, and everything to the dustbin, and they are trying to show that only one man is doing everything. That's wrong.
इसमें बीजेपी की हरदर्मी है. मैं समझता हूँ बीजेपी सरकार और मोदी जी अभी भी अगर मुर्मू जी को राष्ट्रपति जी को इनवाइट करें, उन लोगों को इज्जत बढ़ेगी, इज्जत घटेगी नहीं. अभी भी टाइम है. 28 तारीख, आज 26 है, कल 27 है. बीजेपी सोचे तो अगर मुर्मू जी से कराए तो अच्छा होगा.
मोदी used to take the name of Madam Murmu during all his election campaigns. What is happening in our country? That is why we consider it is an assault on democracy.
the unveiling of this stellar structure is an opportunity to undermine the democratically elected Prime Minister.
पुराने संसद भवन ने स्वतंत्रता के बाद के भारत को दिशा दी, तो नया भवन आत्मनिर्भर भारत के निर्माण का गवाह बनेगा. पुराने संसद भवन में देश की आवश्यकताओं की पूर्ति के लिए काम हुआ तो नए भवन में 21वीं सदी के भारत की आकांक्षाएं पूरी की जाएगी.
In the strongly worded letter, the exasperation of the signatories is starkly visible. This is not the first time that the Congress-led opposition has used boycott as a political tool. From 2017 joint session of Parliament to bring in the new GST law, to the 2021 Constitution Day event presided over by then President Ram Nath Kovind, to the latest one this year when President Murmu's joint session address faced boycott from these political parties. The signatories believe that opposition is not getting what the people increasingly get it now, which is that obstructionism is beyond its use-by date.
Our issues of pride, our symbols of pride, our symbols of nationhood, of our old civilization and culture are being brought out in the present times. Perhaps we all should come together ourselves. There is no question of opposing these things.
As India says, my parliament, my pride, the arrogant detractors have been rejected.
मुझे तो लगता है कि जो उद्घाटन जो हो रहा है होगा, ये लोकतंत्र का एक उत्सव है और हमें उस स्पिरिट में लेना चाहिए. ये विवाद का विषय नहीं बनना चाहिए. ये दुर्भाग्य है अगर ये बनता है.
Let's debate.
I must say that it is a moment of pride for all of us at the Republic Media Network that the hashtag that we brought a few days back when we made it a campaign, that the Prime Minister has used the same hashtag while asking people to send in their videos. And so therefore I believe that we have been spawning a counter movement here on Republic, and that we have been spawning a counter protest here on Republic, because it has always been my view. And I want to start with SP Vaid, former DGP Jammu and Kashmir, who is a signatory to a counter letter. It has always been my belief, Professor Rakesh Sinha, Kovai Satyan, Karan Verma, Ishkaran Bhandari, Priyanka Kakkar of the Aam Aadmi Party, Biswajit Deb of the TMC, Anurag Bhattacharya of the Samajwadi Party, and Kapil Madan. It has been my view that the silent majority must become a vocal majority. And I believe the majority is on our side as far as this issue is concerned. But out of decency, perhaps in the past, Mr. Vaid, the silent majority has been very tolerant of nonsense. And this is nonsense. This is an attempt to undermine the office of the elected head of the world's largest democracy. It's a selfish political agenda. And I'm very glad, viewers, that you are using our hashtag to launch a counter movement. SP Vaid, why did you write this letter? Why did you write an open letter? Why were you signatory to it?
Arnab, it is very unfortunate that you play such a petty politics on issues of national importance. It is a matter of pride for the country. The new parliament building is being inaugurated. And Honorable Mr. Modi, the Honorable Prime Minister, he represents the aspirations of this country. He is an elected executive head of the country, elected by 130 crore people of this country. This new parliament represents heritage of India. It represents a sentiment of India. It's very unfortunate that you play cheap politics on such issues. I think it would be sensible if opposition parties again rethink about it and join this.
I think they should rethink it. I can tell you today, Priyanka Kakkar, you have no idea, 100% of Aam Aadmi Party voters, 100% of them are against this petty politics that you have done. You are insulting the 880 million electorate who have elected the Prime Minister of India to his post by boycotting the Parliament inauguration. And by boycotting the invitation of the Prime Minister, you have forgotten that the Prime Minister is the representative head of the country. You have directly attacked the parliamentary process of this country, which is the soul of democracy. And it is a clear message from you that you don't accept the rightful position. I repeat, the rightful position of the Prime Minister as the chair of the Lok Sabha. That is the real attack on constitutional hierarchy, and I really think you should rethink. Because we will lose out forever if you do this. It is petty, it is narrow-minded, it is most unfortunate. You've badly timed it, and I'm sure you're realizing you're realizing that it's backfiring on you. So maybe you want to do a U-turn. You could do it now on the program. It would be all right.
Not at all. Not at all, Arnabji. Let me please factually correct one or two things first. Firstly is that the PM was not elected by 140 crore Indians. One is that. Secondly is the constitutional head happens to be the president and not the prime minister. The prime minister is the head of House of People, definitely. But then the Council of States, the head is the president. The parliament comprises of the Lok Sabha, the Rajya Sabha and the president. So while it is great that the Honorable PM shall inaugurate, like he goes for train inauguration, bus terminal, you name it, he inaugurates everything. But this is a parliament building. I am not going into the fact that we could not preserve a history like the US or the UK, which has their parliament standing right there with only additions and no demolitions in 1215 and 1792.
May I ask you something, Ms. Kakkar? Ms. Kakkar, I want to ask you a question.
Please.
If I may. Thank you. Ms. Priyanka Kakkar and everyone on, please. I have a simple question to you from the people of India, I suppose, are asking the question. I say, what is money well spent? Is 971 crore rupees in the making of a new parliament well spent money, or is 40 crore rupees spent to make Arvind Kejriwal's house more lavish money well spent?
You know, there is a CVC report today. Arnabji, possibly you were on the show.
Please just answer my question.
There are no allegations in the CVC report of such nature.
Which is money better spent?
Arnabji, the question is, Arnabji, why can't they honor a woman? Why can't they honor somebody who comes from a backward class? All we are saying is call her. When it was the Ram Janmabhoomi Bhumi Pujan, Ramnath Kovind was sitting outside. Now it is the parliament inauguration. When there was the Shilanyas, the president is sitting outside. You are constantly insulting the backward classes because you don't consider them equal. You consider them a shubh. That is why you don't want this inauguration done through the president, who is the rightful head of the constitution.
Louder.
Why can't the question be, why isn't she invited? Why can't the debate be on that? Why isn't she invited? Everyone will keep quiet. There is nothing to debate. What is such a grave bad demand?
Yeah.
Why can't she be invited, Arnabji?
Yeah. Have you finished now? I'll let Rakesh Sinha respond to that. I will only tell you that even those who were the founding fathers of our constitution always envisaged a country which would rise above caste, and I would condemn you for your attempt to pull a caste angle to the inauguration of the new parliament building. This is not progressive, it is very illiberal, it is very undemocratic, and it's not appropriate that you carry out a backsliding of the democratic experiment by constantly reducing everything to caste. However, since you've raised the question, I will let Rakesh Sinha respond to you. Professor Sinha of the BJP.
You know, Arnab, the Prime Minister is the soul of the parliamentary democracy. Without the Prime Minister, parliamentary democracy can't be imagined. That's why the executive activities are assigned to the Prime Minister, not the President of India. Therefore, the question being raised by and contested by the opposition party lacks the logic, lacks the constitutional validity. The fundamental question is that Congress is raising the insult of the President. This is the Congress which is habitually prone to insult the President of India. I am giving 3 examples. Rajendra Prasad was the first popular and the most accepted President of India. When he went to inaugurate the Somnath temple in Gujarat, Prime Minister Nehru wrote letters to the chief ministers not to attend the ceremony. This is the personal initiative of Rajendra
Congress
Prasad.
made 10 mistakes,
On
you
the
will make 100
on the Hindu code bill, he insulted the President of India. Now, when Gyani Jail Singh was the President of India, he stopped the postal bill, which was intervention in the privacy of the Indian citizens.
So you will go ahead and
one
make
of the
further
ministers in the
mistakes.
Rajiv Gandhi cabinet, he hold the press conference against the President of India. Third instance is about the Fakhruddin Ali Ahmad. The proclamation of emergency was issued without the cabinet meeting, and
Congress
the President of
bad,
India was
so you must
forced
be
to sign
worse,
the
is what your
proclamation
argument
of
is,
the
sir.
emergency. These are the three examples, and as far Aam Aadmi Party is concerned, we all know how much they respect the constitutional head, the Lieutenant Governor. Every day they venom against the Lieutenant Governor, the gentleman who is trying to reform the things
Arnab,
in
could you
Delhi,
find the
who is
answer
trying
to
to
why can't she
eliminate
be
the corruption in
invited?
the administration. He is being insulted by the Aam Aadmi Party, whom they are talking, and the morality, constitutional morality.
My question is simple.
The man who
Why can't he
went
be
to disrupt the
invited, sir?
Republic Day.
I'll tell you. I looked at these images
Arvind
today.
Kejriwal went on dharna to disrupt the
I looked at
Republic
these
Day of the
images.
country.
No, I looked at these images. I'll tell you. I looked at these
Arnab,
images.
simple question. Why can't she be
I looked
invited?
at these images and I asked myself, do I feel proud? And I genuinely feel extremely proud. You know, for our generation, we've always felt India must be a superpower. And how can you become a superpower unless you have a vision of a superpower? It's about imagination. It's about vision. It's about looking ahead. Just look, Biswajit Deb, at this structure. Just look at this structure and ask yourself, do you feel proud as an Indian? And if you feel proud as an Indian, why diminish the moment? Just ask yourself a simple question. Rise above your petty politics and this and that. And Biswajit Deb, your question will be why the Prime Minister? I'll give you a reason and then you get a response from the other side. I'll tell you why the Prime Minister. This is the vision of the Prime Minister.
Yes.
The vision of the new parliament is the vision of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, whether you like it or not. All the Trinamool Congress MPs who in the future will enter parliament will have to acknowledge with truth in their heart that it was the vision of Prime Minister Narendra Modi at a time when the whole country was fighting a moment of COVID, the ability of an individual to fight COVID on the one side, to battle COVID in a way which the whole world is talking about in the other, and yet at that time have the vision of parliament. Is it Mamata Banerjee's vision? Is it Arvind Kejriwal's vision? And does it make you jealous that one man had the vision, and not just the vision, but the will to execute? For you made fun. You made fun when he took on a worker's hat and he went to oversee the construction. You made fun of the Central Vista project. You can't swallow it, Mr. Deb. Kapil, I see your hand go up. Aapse hajam nahi ho raha hai. It is his vision. Is it your vision? You are saying he inaugurates railway stations.
No,
वो कौन बोल रहे हैं? मैं पहले मिस्टर देव से पूछूं, ये नरेंद्र मोदी का विजन है कि नहीं? Mr. Deb, is it the Prime Minister's vision? Mr. Deb, is it the Prime Minister's vision? We'll have Kovai and Ishkaran on the left. Yes, Mr. Deb.
Now let
Yeah, please. Louder.
Let me respond. Now you see, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Am I audible?
Very much.
Am I audible? Yes. Now let me tell you. Now this Central Vista program, this was initiated by Prime Minister Modi during the time of COVID.
Right.
You are absolutely right. During the time of COVID, when the people of this country were not getting any food, when most of the people of the country were traveling by foot from one place to another, when the people of the country didn't have any job, when there was unemployment in the country.
Who is telling you? Every nation in the world went through some trouble. We went through the trouble and we fought it and we won.
Mr. Goswami,
don't do the negativity.
This is wrong. Mr. Goswami,
1 minute. Let Mr. Dev complete. Let Mr. Dev complete. Kapil, wait.
It's a question. It's a question of propriety, where the President of India, who is a part and parcel of the parliament, who is very much part and parcel of the parliament, has been ignored. She has been ignored. She has been sidelined only due to the reason
it's not working,
that
sir, that nobody's...
Mr. Modi's supremacy, a one-man show has to be established. A one-man show.
You answer, is it the Prime Minister's vision?
Mr. Modi has to be established.
Is it the Prime Minister's vision or is it your vision?
Arnab, it is
Ishkaran.
That is why the Honorable President of India has been sidelined, violating all constitutional laws, violating the constitutional
Sir, it's a question to me, please let me answer it. It's a question to me, please let me answer it. Thank you. Arnab, it is not only the Prime Minister's vision, it is also his risk. Because please see that the number of persistent, continuous, multiple attempts. Firstly, they went to High Court, Supreme Court that it's not as per the master plan of Delhi. Then it is violative of environment. Then that construction should not be carried out in COVID. The High Court gave a fine of imposed costs of 1 lakh rupees. The Supreme Court upheld it. Then they went to the court saying that there is a land user change of the government by a project done by the government. That was dismissed. Then they went to the court saying the national emblem is not in the manner that they wanted it to be, forgetting that it is an exact bi-ratio replicator. Then they have gone to the court saying the Prime Minister must not inaugurate it. So they put their entire effort in making it the Prime Minister's folly. The Prime Minister is convinced that the nation will look at it with pride, and as you are running the hashtag, so he's taking the risk. Probably he thought that a project which from the very inception they are objecting to, such a controversial, because the voters will decide whether it's India's pride or as they want to make it show that it's something which Prime Minister should not have done. Because
counter from Kapil.
So he does not want the
time for Kapil's counter and then go by. Kapil.
10 seconds.
Kapil, no, I'm going to Kapil fast. Kapil, I'll move fast. What, Ishkaran, bear with me. Kapil.
I will make a quick point. Arnab, you also talk about the will of the Prime Minister. Ishkaran also talk about the will of the Prime Minister, and I would have expected the Prime Minister should have shown the same will when our people died and the opposition was claiming a compensation of 4 lakh rupees for every person who died during the COVID wave. The government said that they don't have that kind of money to pay to the people who have died, to their families who lost their people to COVID. Now my second point. BJP made a political. BJP made one rank, one pension as their political agenda. Now I would have expected the Prime Minister to would have shown the same kind of will. And
what are you talking about? Yeah, you're not being able to say it clearly, Kapil. You're not sure.
No,
you're opposing for opposing sake. Kovai. No, you are not being able to make a coherent point. Aapka hai ki humko oppose karna hai, so I'll say weather is bad. The temperature was high last year. Narendra Modi is responsible for it.
You were talking about
the water didn't come in my tap at home. The water supply in my housing society didn't happen. Narendra Modi is responsible for it.
Arnab.
No. Tomorrow you'll say yesterday I didn't have water supply in my house, and hence we must not have a new parliament. Kovai, this is ridiculous. Ab kya kar rahe ho? Kovai, please. Kovai Satya. I say my parliament, my pride, ladies and gentlemen. Push the campaign harder. Kovai Satya of the ADMK.
My parliament, my pride. Let me start by saying my parliament, my pride.
My parliament, my pride.
My parliament, my pride.
My parliament, my pride. Hashtag trending tonight. My parliament, my pride. Kovai Satyan, please.
Shown the same will while serving
the culmination of arms and the culmination of 140 crores of Indian is there in that parliament. It is a historic moment. Yes, it is an epitome of temple of democracy. And look at the way the opposition is trying to spin a narrative, not every day by every hour. Starting from waste of money, starting from design is not right, starting from emblem is not right. Now coming to the money that is being spent. Now who has not come for inauguration? Look at the way they are shifting their goalposts, putting the nation at the back seat. It is clear to the people of India that everybody who is trying to oppose this historic event wants to put their self-interest and the Parivarvad interest to the front and putting the interest of the nation and the image of the nation at the back seat. And starting from now, the new controversy on the baton. Passing of baton is not in the culture. The baton has got the symbol of a cow representing RSS agenda. Come on, what not you guys have not tried?
Can I just
go on? Every hour you try to spin a narrative.
Can I make a point?
Putting the image of the nation at the back seat. And the nation is, everybody is watching and you don't have a convincing answer to anyone who is questioning you, why are you boycotting this? And you find an answer saying that the president is not invited. On the 11th hour, you get an enlightenment. On new agenda, you try to drive.
Anurag Bhadoria of the Samajwadi Party.
Opposition people, take a break.
अनुराग भदौरिया समाजवादी पार्टी आप भी
nation's image, take a break.
आप ब्रेक लीजिए वापस
stand with the people.
Yeah, absolutely. Stand with the people. Motorola moment. अनुराग भदौरिया. Mr. Bhadoria, आपको मैं 2-3 tweet सुनाता हूँ. Subhash P says, Indians now get to see the true color of opposition parties. R.K. Singh says, honestly, for an ordinary Indian, this boycott on the new parliament building makes no difference. We have Ishika who says, the Congress respect for the Honorable President is known by all. Yes, we absolutely know that. It's known to all. We have Pratibha Agarwal saying, we are proud of you, Modi ji. We are with you. Forget about the opposition. We have Manoranjan Malla who says, this is of course the Prime Minister's vision. These opposition parties never had these visions in their dreams. And my question is here, Anurag Bhadoria ji, आप जो इधर जल रहे हैं, आपका जो बर्नॉल मोमेंट चल रहा है, आपने क्यों नहीं किया? आपने कितने, आप जब सरकार में थे, रक्षा सौदों में पैसा, CWG गेम्स में पैसा, घोटाला, कट मनी, ये वो करते आम आदमी पार्टी एक इंडिया अगेंस्ट करप्शन की मूवमेंट हुई, हम ही ने सपोर्ट किया. उस समय अरविंद केजरीवाल ने हमें कहा इंटरव्यू में, मैं कभी पॉलिटिक्स में नहीं आऊंगा. फिर आगे पता नहीं उनकी क्या व्यस्तता थी कि वो कंपल्शन में आ गए. उसके बाद आज वही आम आदमी पार्टी जो आपके घोटालों के खिलाफ खड़ी थी, आपके साथ हाथ में हाथ मिलाकर जो हमारा नया संसद बन रहा है उसकी ऑपोजिशन कर रही है. कितना हाउ आयरॉनिकल द होल सिचुएशन इज. यस, आपने क्यों नहीं किया? अच्छा, आपको तो पहले बताना होगा. व्हाई डिड यू नॉट हैव द विजन?
जवाब तो सुन लो.
हाँ बोलिए, और करण जवाब देंगे प्लीज.
सुन तो लीजिए, मैं बता रहा हूं.
बिल्कुल 100% सुन रहा हूं.
लेकिन अच्छी बात है अर्नब, आज आपकी अच्छी बात है, आज अर्नब पहली बार मैं आपके साथ हूं, चूंकि आपकी आवाज आज दबी हुई है, चूंकि आपके अंदर से आवाज नहीं आ रही है. आप खुद जान रहे हो कि जो हो रहा है वो गलत हो रहा है, क्योंकि हम अपने राष्ट्र के राष्ट्रपति की बात कर रहे हैं, हम किसी दूसरे राष्ट्र के राष्ट्रपति.
ये सब चलता नहीं है, आप पॉइंट पे आइए. ये सब चलता नहीं है, पॉइंट पे आइए. कम टू द पॉइंट. ऑल दिस डजंट वर्क विद मी यार. आप मैं बहुत एक्सपीरियंस्ड आदमी हूं, मुझ पे ये सब अप्लाई नहीं होता. आप बताइए, आगे चलिए, आगे चलिए. मेरे दिल की बात आप.
द होल नेशन वांट टू नो. आपको मुझे बोलने तो दीजिए ना. आज आपको बोलना चाहिए था, होल नेशन वांट टू नो कि राष्ट्रपति जी से उद्घाटन क्यों नहीं हो रहा है. भाई पार्लियामेंट 79 अनुच्छेद सेक्शन की बात करेंगे तो ये राष्ट्रपति जी का, राष्ट्रपति जी लोकसभा,
मैं मुझे जो पूछना है मैं पूछूंगा. हमारा डिबेट ट्रेंड हो रहा है. अनुराग भदौरिया ऑन द राइट, अनुराग ऑन द राइट एंड करण ऑन द लेफ्ट. प्रियंका 1 मिनट, इनको बोलने दीजिए. बोलिए,
मेरी बात कर.
हाँ बोलिए ना.
मेरी बात, आपको नहीं रोक रहा. मैंने आपसे बोला कि पार्लियामेंट, यहाँ पार्लियामेंट एज ए एडवाइजर, टेक्निकली देखोगे तो टेक्निकली एडवाइजर के रूप में, राष्ट्रपति के एडवाइजर के रूप में पार्लियामेंट काम करती है. राष्ट्रपति के अभिभाषण में पार्लियामेंट में चर्चा होती है,
जिसका बहिष्कार आप करते हैं, जिसका बहिष्कार आप करते हैं.
चर्चा होती है, बिल पास होते हैं. बिना राष्ट्रपति के बिल पास नहीं होते हैं, बिना राष्ट्रपति के बिल पास नहीं होते हैं. इसके लिए मतलब सदन जो है एज ए एडवाइजर ही काम करता है राष्ट्रपति का. आप राष्ट्रपति जी को नहीं बुला रहे, राष्ट्रपति से उद्घाटन नहीं करा रहे. इसमें क्या दिक्कत है? एक आदिवासी महिला है, आदिवासी
प्रेसिडेंशियल कैंडिडेट
महिला है, लक्ष्मी है.
आदिवासी महिला, आपने सपोर्ट किया था प्रेसिडेंसी के लिए.
क्यों लक्ष्मी?
अर्नब, they had all joined hands. They left no stone unturned to ensure that Draupadi Murmu ji doesn't become the president.
की बात कर रहे हैं. उनके पैरों से, उनके हाथ से उद्घाटन नहीं करा कि दुनिया भर की बातें हो रही है.
आप एक्सपोज हो.
अरे आप बताइए, देश के राष्ट्रपति का, मैं बोल रहा हूँ ना, देश के राष्ट्रपति का उद्घाटन कराइए. आप राष्ट्रपति जी के साथ क्यों नहीं खड़े हैं? आपको क्या दिक्कत है कि देश के राष्ट्रपति?
आपको कोई इज्जत नहीं है. सच बात यह है, आपका काम है लटकाना, अटकाना, फिर फेल हो जाना और
सच बात यह है कि आप देश के साथ, आप एजेंडा पे काम कर रहे हो. सच बात यह है कि आपको सच नहीं बोलना है. सच बात यह है कि आप देश के राष्ट्रपति जी के साथ खड़े नहीं हो. सच बात यह है कि आप एजेंडा चलाना चाहते हो, कभी बोल के कि यहाँ पे ऐसा हो रहा है, वहां पे ऐसा. अगर कांग्रेस ने गलत किया, कांग्रेस ने कहीं पे गलत किया, तो आप क्या चाहते हो कि देश की राष्ट्रपति से उद्घाटन नहीं कराएंगे आप पार्लियामेंट भवन?
This is a festival of democracy and we are going to celebrate it. We don't need you.
We are back on the debate right now with Priyanka.
You are not indispensable.
With Priyanka and Vishwajit Dev on the right, and I'd like to bring back SP Ved and Professor Rakesh Sinha on the left. Thank you.
सत्ता हटा देगा. देश सत्ता से हटा
Mr. Ved, yes, Mr. Ved, let Priyanka complete. I'm coming back to you. Yes, Priyanka. Priyanka, the Ashok Chakra, which symbolizes
बंगारू लक्ष्मण का पार्टी इज महिला विरोधी, हर चीज का इवेंट बना देते, चीता लाए तो भी इवेंट बनवा दिया, अब वो महिला विरोधी मानसिकता दिखती है रेस्टलेस प्रोटेस्ट में, एंड फ्रॉम द फैक्ट दैट आवर ऑनरेबल पीएम अबैंडन्ड हिज वाइफ. That is Dalit
I want to tell you, one minute. I want to tell you, Priyanka, that it is very unfortunate. It is, Priyanka, it is very unfortunate what you are doing, and I'll have to stop you there, because this is the reason you always go into a personal realm, and you have no right to comment on the personal life of anyone. And I request you, please, I am not proud of the way you are speaking now, and some of the things which you have just said. No, if you are, 1 minute, did you support the president in her election? Did you support the president saying she's a woman and the Dalit will support her? Did you support her election? When the NDA went around asking you to support her because she's a Dalit and a woman, did you support her? Did you support her? If you did not support her, how can you use that card?
We also were happy when she... That is an ideological difference.
No.
That was not...
This is your ideological difference. 1 minute.
Arnab, you
Rakesh
know that very well. Please, my constitution, my pride, Arnab. My constitution, my pride. The constitution has not been followed in this case. She is the constitution.
Which part?
He happens to be a woman. He happens to be a Dalit.
A minute, please. Rakesh Sinha, before I come to you, Priyanka, if you listen to me 1 minute. Priyanka, please understand, the job of Parliament is to make laws, okay? And the job of the Supreme... Allow me to explain to you, please. The job of the Supreme Court of India is to interpret the Constitution and to see whether any aspect or article of the Constitution has been violated or needs amendment, to be in tune with the fundamental principles of the Constitution. And you may not be aware, but the PIL, which was put in, by the Supreme Court, the PIL, why don't you listen to me? You can't say my constitution and the constitution has been violated and not expect me. Allow me please to complete. Allow me to complete, Priyanka. Allow me to complete. Priyanka, I'll tell you one thing. Please listen to me. You are dealing with me. I am an experienced anchor in these matters, and therefore you will have to just listen to me. I may have a little more experience in these matters than you.
I know that.
All I am telling you, Priyanka, that there was a PIL which was filed by an advocate which sought a direction to the union government to say that this should be inaugurated by the president and not the prime minister. Okay? The Supreme Court of India said we are not inclined to even entertain the PIL, which is why the petitioner was forced to withdraw it. Now the job of do you think the Supreme Court, if the Supreme Court felt the Constitution has been violated, it would have not entertained the PIL, it would have had a debate on it today. Justice Chandrachud would have called a division bench. Am I right, Rakesh Sinha? Am I right, Mr. Ved? So you can't make, no, I am absolutely confident, I am absolutely confident that the Supreme Court of India would have entertained the PIL, but it has dismissed it. So you should acknowledge what has happened in the Supreme Court today and not override it. It's impossible. I mean, you can't be anti-Supreme Court. You oppose the Supreme Court in everything.
Do you agree?
You are against the Supreme Court in everything.
The president is the head of the Council of States. Do you agree or you don't that she's a constitutional head? Tell me that.
It is the fact, Biswajit Deb.
No, this is not what we want to say. It is a call which has been taken, a deliberate call which has been taken by the government, just to establish the supremacy and a one-man show in this country.
No, this is your interpretation.
It is Narendra Modi and nobody else. And that is why the President of India has been insulted. The highest office of this country has been insulted.
This is what you are saying.
Very much unexpected. We do not expect such thing. No. You must admit this. That
I will not admit it.
The Constitution clearly says.
No, I will,
that
Mr. Deb, I will not admit it.
You read, Mr. Goswami, you read Article 79, but I am not on it. Since the Supreme Court has said, but one thing, it is very clear that the government should have invited President of India, minus the President of India, sidelining the President of India, ignoring the President of India. Do you think that the government has shown respect to this highest office? Do you think that in such an event, the President of India should be ignored?
I would, one
This is
second,
just
sir.
to establish-
Mr. Deb.
I am again repeating.
Mr. Deb.
I am again repeating.
Mr. Deb.
This is just to establish
Mr.
the
Deb.
supremacy and
Mr.
the
Deb.
supremacy of Mr. Narendra Modi.
Mr. Deb, may I
that
just-
it's a
may I
one-man
just-
show
may I
in
just-
India and nobody else.
Yeah,
It is only Narendra Modi.
okay. Mr. Dev, I want to make one comment and add one thing to you, and then I'm handing it over to Mr. Baid and Rakesh Sinha, who've been quiet. First of all, I'm happy to share with you, Mr. Dev, that this is the #1 trending debate across the entire country today. My Parliament, My Pride. Our average viewership right now on streaming platforms is 12 times that of any closest English news channel, which people like, obviously, our debate. The second point that I'm telling you is please respect the Supreme Court. The third point, you cannot give instructions to the executive. Fourth point, you are undermining the electoral mandate of the country with what you are doing. But I'll let Mr. Vaid respond to you, Mr. Vaid. And then Rakesh.
Arnab, one second. Arnab, in 1975, Mrs. Gandhi, Arnab,
the executive head of the union.
To also to respect the President of India, who is the
Arnab, in 1975, Mrs. Gandhi inaugurated the NSC of the Parliament.
Inviting.
Mr. Rajiv Gandhi inaugurated the
Mrs. Gandhi
library of the Parliament. That time, the opposition did not remember the President.
In the year 1970, don't forget that. And here, the foundation stone was also laid by Mr. Narendra Modi.
This is an executive function and it's a brainchild of Mr. Modi. He has conceived it, he allotted the fund, monitored it and ensured that it is split in time.
But the country wants to know that why the
Sir, the country, the nation wants to know, yes.
Particular event.
Sir, the nation wants to know.
Why
the nation wants to know, do you feel proud when you see the pictures I'm putting up on the screen? The nation wants to know, do you feel national pride? Do you feel a sense of pride? I want to know whether Priyanka feels a sense of surging pride when she sees these pictures. I want to know, besides the position she has to take as an Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson, I want to know whether she feels proud.
President, if the
Arnab,
Adivasi
the
president
opposition
was invited, Arnab, why can't you ask them why is she not invited and end this debate? All they have to do is extend an invitation to the constitutional head. Why is that such a big deal?
SP Vaid and Rakesh Sinha, SP Vaid first. Please, SP Vaid now.
Arnab, the opposition must do constructive criticism of the policies and programs of the government. They are within the right. But here, they should have joined the Honorable Prime Minister in the inauguration. That's what the whole nation feels about it. It is an executive function, and he has it is his brainchild. We must ensure that the building, it is a pride for the country.
Mr. Bhadoria,
nation whole India want to know.
Rakesh Sinha ji ko boliye, Bhadoria.
Is not invited.
Hatred against Mr. Modi should not transform into hatred against the country.
the head of the parliament. और उनको आपने इनवाइट नहीं किया, उनसे इनॉग्रेशन नहीं करवा रहे क्यों? This nation want to know.
Nation wants to know. Nation wants to know कि अनुराग भदौरिया मेरी बात सुनिए, बहुत हो गया, मैं अभी चैलेंज दे रहा हूँ. 1 minute. राकेश सिन्हा मेरे साथ डिबेट पे है. अभी समय 9:45 9:45 PM. I am throwing a challenge. बहुत हो गया कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन की बातें, बहुत हो गई इधर-उधर की बातें. मैं ओपन चैलेंज कर रहा हूं, अभी लाइव चैलेंज टेलीविजन पर चैलेंज कर रहा हूं. मैं लाइव टेलीविजन पर चैलेंज कर रहा हूं कि जो लोग संविधान की बात कर रहे हैं मेरे साथ डिबेट करें संविधान को लेकर. चलिए क्लॉजेस पे डिबेट करते हैं. कौन करेंगे बताइए? कौन आएंगे मेरे साथ 1-to-1 डिबेट करने संविधान पर? कपिल आएंगे? कपिल को तो पता ही नहीं है कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. 1-to-1 डिबेट कीजिए मेरे साथ.
1-to-1 करता हूं ना, आ जाओ 1-to-1 करते हैं. चलिए संविधान पे.
हाँ 1-to-1 डिबेट होगी.
आ जाओ.
मैं आ चुका हूँ. आ जाओ. क्या है इन द डिबेट?
बोलिए, क्या राष्ट्रपति जी को उद्घाटन करने का अधिकार नहीं है?
आर्टिकल 79.
चलिए आर्टिकल 79 पे वॉल्यूम डाउन. Challenge accepted. I am now debating with Biswajit Deb. And Biswajit Deb says Article 79. Everyone on the screen. बहुत हो गया. पहले अनुराग भदौरिया आप मुझे डिस्टर्ब मत कीजिए. I have taken the challenge. मैं challenge accept कर चुका हूँ. Rakesh Sinha, please come on the debate with me. Rakesh Sinha and Bishwajit Dev, Article 79 ये Google कर रहे हैं. He is Googling Article 79. ये Google कर रहे हैं. अभी Article 79 में Priyanka is also Googling. Priyanka is Googling. Bishwajit Dev is Googling. Rakesh Sinha.
Yes, Article 79.
Mr. Dev, let me tell you, Mr. Dev, I want to tell you something. Listen to me, Mr. Dev, for some reason, Mr. Dev, 1 minute. What, Mr. Dev, you'll have to be quiet. I can't argue with you like this. You are senior to me, but you are louder also than me. Please be quiet, sir. 1 minute. आप 2 मिनट रुक जाइए मिस्टर देव. 1 मिनट শুনে নিন কথাটা, আপনি কথাই শুনছেন না. Please 1 minute. Thank you.
Without the President of India.
God, I'm trying every trick in the book. Now listen to me, Mr. Dev. Mr. Dev, I'll tell you, you are citing constitutional articles, and this is when I start getting very angry because you people think I don't know. Article 79 says there's a parliament, it'll have a president and 2 houses. Okay, this is class 6 civics. Class 6, and I was always a topper in civics. Now listen to me. Please tell me, where in Article 79 does it say that parliamentary infrastructure should be inaugurated by the president? Where?
Can you deny that the
I deny
president is
nothing.
a part and parcel of the parliament?
I deny
Can
nothing.
you deny that? Can you deny that?
I don't deny. I'm not a person who lives in denial.
Because Constitution specifically records.
No, sir, it doesn't record.
Specifically states
It doesn't record. You're talking nonsense, sir. No.
The President of India.
Okay.
You cannot ignore.
No, it doesn't.
You cannot ignore the President of India.
Who is ignoring the President of India? Who is ignoring the President of India?
Boycott of the President of India.
Sir, I tell you one thing. Can you tell me?
It is not the boycott by the opposition, but the boycott of the government of the President of India. Boycott by the government of the President of India.
Okay, now Rakesh Sinha's turn, please. Rakesh
Very
Sinha.
unfortunate.
Rakesh Sinha. Okay, one Rakesh Sinha. Rakesh Sinha, please.
Kindly give.
Yeah.
Kindly give me a minute. I will explain the position. The Constitution expects the compatibility between the President and the Prime Minister. That is the only constitutional ethics which is expected. And the highest stage of compatibility we have seen with Ramnath Kovind ji and the Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. Highest compatibility with Draupadi Murmu ji and the Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. This is expected for the Republican spirit. The Republican Day is dedicated to President of India, and all the awards and ceremonies are headed by the President of India, but all the active political activities is headed by the Prime Minister. The President's position is a symbolic.
Exactly.
She or he appoints the minister with the aid and advice of the Prime Minister. She does not have any actual power. She is a symbolic head because India is a republic, so she is elected. We have different paths from Britain. Britain has the monarch. Britain has the monarchy. We rejected the monarchy. But my question to the Congress party, why they have joined the Commonwealth? Why they have joined the Commonwealth? When Commonwealth is led by the British King and Queen. I think that such
मैं एक सवाल करता हूँ. Bishwajit Dev again. Bishwajit Dev 2 versus 2. Mr. Dev, one second. Sir, 1 minute. One minute. Mr. Dev, I'm coming back to you. I'm sorry I have to explain a few things to you and Kapil and Priyanka on the other side because Anurag to sun nahi rahe meri baat. So we'll take 3 versus 3. We'll take 3 versus 3. I have one lawyer here called Ishkaran, a very senior police officer, SP Vaid, and Kovai Satyan. Kovai.
Arnab, can I just speak on Article 79 for a second?
No, sir, you have to read Article 74. Article 79.
Just
1 minute. Article 79 has to be read with Article 52 in combination with Article 74. Article 74 says, Article 74.
Arnab, Arnab, just 1 second, please. Arnab, everybody is arguing on Article 79.
The problem with Priyanka is she doesn't know the Constitution.
Arnab, just one fact. Arnab, just one fact. Everybody is wanting to argue on Article 79. Today, before the Honorable Supreme Court, Article 79 was argued. The Supreme Court said what
Two, I can't hear if you're true or so true. Wake the window.
It dismissed the plea. So after Supreme Court has already dismissed the plea in which Article 79 was argued, I don't understand why on a TV debate we are arguing Article 79, which just the Supreme Court dismissed in context of an inauguration. Please read the Supreme Court order. If people had read the Supreme
Okay, I don't want to. Kovai, Satyan and Ishkaran.
They would have understood that Article 79 is not an argument which has found favor with the Honorable Supreme Court.
Ishkaran, Kovai has spoken very little. And Priyanka thinks that she will be defeated by sleight of hand. I will not do that. I will defeat you. I will defeat you with logic, with facts, with experience, and with a fair amount of constitutional wisdom. Now, my point being to Kovai Satyan.
Let's not comment.
Arnab,
Let's not
from
comment
everyday
on
narrative,
other
it
people's
has
knowledge
boiled
without
down now
even
to every
letting
hour.
them.
Okay, but then, no, I won't comment. 1 minute. Can I come in, please? 1 minute. I'm overshooting the time limit.
I'm giving you all the respect for your knowledge and experience.
Yeah, but then I have to
do the same.
Yeah, but then I'll ask you, and with Kovai on the other side. Yeah, but I'll tell you. You see, what happens is Kovai, and then I'll end with you. Article 79 says there'll be a parliament which will consist of president and 2 houses. That is being seen technically. The reality is there's an Article 74 which talks about the scope of the Council of Ministers to aid and advise the parliament. Nowhere is there a clause which says, allow me to complete. Nowhere is there a clause which says that the Council of Ministers is bound to advise the president to inaugurate a new parliament. That is something you made up. Kovai, you can't do that.
Arnab, I know my time is limited.
Kovai, and then coming back to you. Let Kovai speak,
From
please.
everyday narrative now, it has boiled down to every minute narrative. The minute narrative now is Article 79. Article 79 says that there shall be a parliament for the union which shall consist of president and 2 houses to be known respectively as Council of States and the House of the People. This is 79 which clearly says who is who. And 74 clearly says there should be a council of ministers and the Prime Minister is the head of the council. The council aids the president in performing his functions smoothly.
No, sir.
The judiciary cannot inquire about the advice given by the council. So nowhere there is mention of the president role
So 1 minute.
inauguration.
Okay, Priyanka, last point to Priyanka.
Or anything that do with
Priyanka and Karan.
the ongoing puzzle which the opposition is trying to
Okay,
figure
my
out.
last point, Arnab, is without going into the constitutionality of it, which clearly states that she is the constitutional head of the country. I'm not even going to debate that. All I'm saying is a new building does not mark progress from us going from developing to develop. What marks progress is that we treat everyone equally, that women are an equal part, that Adivasis will not be left behind, that Ramnath Kovind will sit in the Bhumi Pujan when there's a mandir. They will not be considered a shubh. This party considers them a shubh.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's our trending debate number 1 tonight. Number 1 tonight, and I request all the political parties on the debate who are thinking of boycotting, please perish the thought. Please don't boycott a historic and pious moment as the inauguration of the new parliament. On the other side tonight, why it is becoming almost a challenge to the pseudo-secular lobby to accept the history of the Sengol. When I'm back.